So last class we have seen up to exceptions, right? So now today we are going to start with everyone go on mute. Hello. Yes. So, so what we are going to start today is calculated key figures. Okay, calculated. Okay, the next topic what we are going to discuss is called calculated key figures. So let's see now it is a virtual key figure. What is calculated key figure? It's just like a virtual key figure. So virtual key figure means this data is not stored in a database. Virtual means what? It is calculated at the runtime. So where the value of calculated key figure is calculated is in the processor. Within the BEX will send a request to processor. Then processor will start searching for the data in the database. From the database it will retrieve the data to the processor. Any processing has to be done will be done in a. So the value of your calculated key figure will be calculated in your OLAP processor. Now what is that? So whenever we calculate a new key figure, so based on what? So when I say new key figure, you can say like this. This data is not available in the database. So this data is not available in the. So whenever we calculate a new key figure based on existing key figures means which are available in your and what? And ready-made functions given by SAP are called as calculated key figures. So what is that now? Whenever we calculate a new key figure, okay, based on existing key figures and some ready-made functions that are given by SAP, so they are called as what? Calculated key figures. Okay? And what is that now? Calculated key figures are global objects. Calculated key figures are what? Global. So global objects means it will be available for all the queries which are built on the same info provider. What is global object means? It will be available for all the queries which are built on the same info. Let us say on a cube I have created 5 queries. In my first query we are creating a calculated key figure. That means this calculated key figure will be available for the rest all 5, another 4 queries also, which are built on your same info program. So clear what is global object means? It will be available for all the queries which are built on the same info provider. So now suppose, how is that now? Imagine I have some so let us say we have data like this: customer, material, and this is the output you have seen. Suppose this is what is my data. Now suppose, now imagine, now user says you want to calculate something like a discounted value, a discounted revenue. Suppose discount sale is on. Now I need to understand what may be the impact of my revenue. Let us say if I am giving some 5% discount on my sales or price or whatever it is. Now, what is that now? We are saying now this is now key figure name is. So actually this discount value is not available in your database. In Cube you have only value of revenue, but now I want to calculate an extra key figure called as. So what is that formula for this now? Discount is equal to so I'm saying revenue into 5 divided by okay, that is 5% of discount. So and I want to calculate one more thing. Let us say discounted revenue. So discounted revenue is equal to what? Revenue minus so now this value is 5. If this value is 100 minus 5 is like this. So now you are going to calculate one. So they are now, is these values are storing in the database? No, right? This data is not storing in my, but still you can, content you can represent in your report. Now this discount and discount revenue are nothing but your calculated. Okay, so like this. Suppose you have something like sales. Sales is one key figure and other one is expenses. Now you need to calculate something called profit. So profit is equal to sales minus expenses. So profit is a calculated key figure. Then what is that now? Let us say that is gross profit. Now you want to calculate net profit. Net profit is equal to profit minus tax. Or I want to calculate something like what is the percentage of growth compared to my last month or last week or last year. So sales compared to last year, what is the increase in percentage or decrease in percentage? All these are what? Your calculated. So you have basically some key figures which are available in your database, basic key figures. Using this, you are going to try to evaluate some more values for representation purposes. Those are nothing but what? Calculated key figures. Okay? Clear now? So, what is which value is not storing in your database? Done. And as I said, now what is that now? Calculated key figure is a calculated key figure is a global object. That means it will be available for all the queries which are built on the same info provider. So now same as calculated key figure, you have something called as new formula. So new formula is same as calculated key figure, but it is what? A local object. Clear now what is a calculated key figure now? So it is a virtual key figure which value is not storing in the database, just only for calculation purpose you are going to use this particular key figures. They are called as what? Calculated key figures. Yes. Any doubts regarding this? Clear? So I'll go further. So next what we are going to see is called restricted key figures. Restricted key figures. So restricted key figures are also just like they are also virtual key figures only. So now you have seen what is that you have observed now. As of now, you have seen is this particular part. What is that now? You applied a restriction. Suppose this was your query. Okay, my query is customer, material, then I have something called quantity, then revenue. Okay, suppose you have data like this now. Okay, let us say this is what is your report output. Imagine if you apply a restriction, what is that now value now? So now imagine I am applying a customer number, restrict with what? What will be your output? This is your output now. So in the output it will just show only values of what? Values of what? C1. That means, as I said now, what are the restrictions that you are applying? What are the restrictions that you are applying? What is going to happen now? It affects for quantity as well as revenue. It's showing the key figure is the restriction is applied for all the column sizes. For quantity it is showing only value of C1, for revenue also is showing value of. But quantity value is nowhere concerned with customer. My output should be like this. Suppose my output should be like this. Now for quantity it has to show entire values, but for revenue it has to show only value of. That means you are applying a restriction only for a particular key figure. Which key figure it is affecting? In this case it is affecting both the key figures. In this case now I want to apply only a, then this revenue we are going to create it as a restricted key figure. So now what is that now? See, okay, whenever we want to apply, whenever you want to apply the restriction only for a particular key figure, so whenever we want to apply a restriction only for a particular key figure, we use restricted key figures. Now restricted key figures are also, this is also what? Virtual key figure, okay. So restricted key figure is also a virtual key figure. So what does that mean? Virtual key figure means this value will not be storing in the database. It's just one virtual key figure I am creating, okay. So that what you can do is you can applying the restriction only for a, affecting only for a particular key figure. That's nothing but what? Restricted key figure. And restricted key figures are, what is that now? They are global objects. Again, so it is, what is that now? It will be available for all the queries which are built on the same info provider. So restricted key figures are available for all the queries which are built on the same info provider. So next, same as this, you have something called as new selection. Okay, new selection is what? It's also same as your restricted key figure, but it is a local object. That means if you could, Okay, right? So now we'll start creating one calculated and restricted key figures now. So I just open my query. So when you want to create a calculated key figure, what is there here? Left side you can see key figures, no? So right click on that. Yeah, from the, now when you execute a query, revenue value is fetching from the database itself. Because already while loading itself, you have loaded the revenue data is stored inside the cube. So from where it's fetching that data now? From the cube itself. Clear? Yeah. Yes, any other doubts? Right. See now, how do you start creating a calculated key figures? Left side, what is there here? Key figures. Right click on this. So you get option now. One is new calculated key figure, another one is new restricted key figure. So now I want to create as a calculated key figure. Click on new calculated key figure. So what is going to happen now here? One more extra coming as new calculated key figure. So just double click on this. So now it's asking to give a technical name. Give some technical name. Okay, I'm saying this is calculated key figure. Okay. So if you want, you can change the description now. So I'm changing this description to, let us say, what is it now? Okay. So I said now it is a discount. Then you can see what is it now? These are the existing key figures. So what I said, based on the existing key figures, then these are the functions which are given by SAP. So what I said now, using the existing key figures, we are going to calculate some new key figures. So these are the functions which are given by SAP, basic, percentage, set of functions like this, and these are the existing key figures. Now, what is that now? I want now discount. What is the discount value now? Let us say. So first I am showing you with the key figures, then we'll come with the functions. Revenue into what? 5 divided by 100. So this is the formula for what? Your calculated key figure called as discount. Okay. So same way, I want to create one more now. Hello, please go on mute. What is that now? New calculated key figure. Hello, please go on mute. Okay, I'm going to calculate now one more new key figure now. So this we are calling it as, and let us say what is that now, I'm calling this as discounted revenue. So now you can observe now, you can change this technical name, something. So what is that discounted revenue now? Revenue minus, what is the value? Discount value. You know? So I am creating one calculated key figure that I am using it in another calculated key figure also. That is also possible. Okay? Now save it. So now these two, you can drag it into a columns. So I'm removing this quantity, let us say. Then one is discount value. Now is these two are storing in the database? These two are not storing in the database. And if you can observe, you can apply the same properties what I shown you for key figure. It's just like a normal key figure only, but the thing is, that data is not storing in your database. Then you can use it in conditions if you want. Same thing, what are the things that I can perform on my regular key figure? Can I perform it on? See? So I'm going to create now on what? Can I apply conditions on this discounted revenue and discount also? Same options. What are, it's just like a normal key figure only, but only what is the difference now? This is not available in your. No, you cannot create it from RS7. You cannot create a calculated key figure from RS7. It's only created at reporting level. It cannot be created from your data warehousing workbench. It's not possible. If you creating that, that's just only a key figure. It's not used. It's not depending on your cube or something, right? How can it be global? Again, if you are taking that key figure in the cube means again it is existing in the database. But these are not existing in the database, right? On a cube, I am creating a query. Inside this, I am creating as a calculated key figure. So, query is built on particular info provider or not? So it will take for all the queries. All the queries means what I am saying. Built on the same info provider. It's not that for entire BI system. On a cube, I have 5. Totally, let us say I have 100 queries. On a cube 1, I have 5 queries. On cube 2, 20 queries are there. I am creating a calculated key figure in query which is built on cube 1. That means it will be available for the other 4 queries. That is only out of 100, only for 5 queries it is available. It's not for entire queries that you have in your BI system. That's what I'm saying. It will be available for all the queries which are built on the same info provider. Is it clear? Right. So now, just save this now query now. See what is telling? If you can observe, it's saved. Okay, let me show you some. It will say it is a reusable one. Changes will affect other queries also. Now you can see your output is coming in a web page now. Now you can see what is that now? Discount value now for 900 it is calculated as what? 45. And 900 minus 45 is 855. Then same with 1200, discount value is 60. Here now what is discount and what is discounted revenue? So these two are not storing in your database, but what? It could be represented in your output. So that is, they are called as your calculated key figures. Okay, you know. Suppose you want to delete some calculated key figure or something, same thing. So just remove it from the columns. You should not be using it. So now this is, let us say, right click, delete it. Okay, right? So now suppose you want to change the formula now. So now this is your discount. Okay, let it be like this. Suppose I want to change this. Double click on this. So you can I'm changing my description. Okay, let us say I'm saying this is just a calculated key figure. Yeah, tell me. Hello. Yeah, Reena garu cheppandi. Okay, hello there. Hello. Yes. So now revenue minus some. I said I am used only the key figures, right? Now you can come to now using your the functions that are given by SAP now. What is the first thing you can see is basic functions. That is, one is high, other one is equal to, right? Now high means high acts as x to the power of y. Yeah, tell me, Reena. What doubt you have? Tell me. Hello, speak out. I can't hear you. Please do it fast. Hello, Reena. Yeah. So now what is that now? First one is high. So high acts as x to the power of y. You want to square something or cube something to the power of 4 to the power of 5 or something. Right? So you can use which function now? Suppose you want to square the quantity. Quantity high, x is quantity, y value is 2. Or you want to cube it. Quantity to the power of, okay, like this. So now apply that. Then okay. So now you can see this is your calculated key figure. Drop it into your columns. You want to drop quantity, also drop it. So now save it and execute it. Thirty three test taken. Okay. So it's power of 9 to the power of 33 test calculated now. Okay. 6 to the power of 33. 8 to the power of 33. Fine, see? So now see if you can observe your values are so big. In this case, what you can select that. So now, see now, so like this, I am calculating some new key figure, which is not stored in your, so it has taken quantity to the power of 33 I have. So then what is that next function you can see is called equal to. Equal to means you can assign some value for this calculated key figure. Suppose I say it is equal to 50 means wherever I use this calculated key figure, its value will be 50. Earlier it is taking the cell value to the power of 33. Now its value will be what? Equal to, excuse me. The next is like percentage functions, wherein you can calculate percentages. So we have two things, one is variance, other one is share. Now if you calculate share, share means it will show you the actual share. Let us say 60% of 100. Now what is the share there? Out of 100, what is the percentage of 60? 60, that is share. But variance means first it will calculate the share, then it will differentiate with the other part. Share minus 100. So 60 variance of 100 means minus 40. It will show you the other part. Understand? That is the difference between variance and share. Then you can see something called data functions. Widely used is the data functions. So first one is what? Value is equal to 1. That means in the output it is going to print as 1. Value is equal to what? Value is equal to 1 means in the output it is going to print as 1. If what? Operand is not equal to 0. If what? The operand is not equal to 0. That means it will be checking the value of your operands. What are operands now? The existing key figures are. If this value is not equal to 0, in the output it is going to print as 1, else 0. So output will be either 1 or 0 based on your operand value. If operand value is equal to 0, output it prints as 0. If it is not equal to 0, it prints as 1. Suppose I am using this function now. Operand is quantity. Now suppose save it and execute it. Now what is our output now? Because this is not equal to 0, here it is printing as 1. Okay. Now that is first data function called as count. So now next data function is now exactly same as this, reverse to this one function is there. What is that now? Right, value is equal to 1. That means in the output it is going to print as 1 if operand is equal to 0. Earlier it was not equal to 0, now it is equal to 0, else 0. Reverse to that. Then you can see process value as date. Suppose you have some data like it is in terms of number of days. Now I want to convert it into date format. You can convert this number of days into date format. Or you can observe now next is no divisible of x is equal to 0 on divided by 0. Now suppose imagine you are calculating something like this, revenue divided by quantity. So revenue by quantity is price. Now imagine somewhere the quantity value is equal to 0. Somewhere the value of quantity is what? Now anything divided by 0 is infinity. So system can calculate the value of infinity? System cannot calculate the value of infinity. At that case what happens? It will cannot calculate, it will show some error. Now I don't want like that, it has to be displayed as, you see, no divisible of x is equal to what? 0. Now suppose what I am saying, what is your formula you are applying? Imagine something like, let us say 5 divided by 0. So now it is something divided by 0 now. So can it calculate this value now? See, just save it, then execute it. So what is showing? It is showing as x, because it cannot calculate the. But if you use the same division in that particular function, what you are seeing there, it will be shown as 0. double click on this. Same thing only. Instead of using like this, what I'm doing now, no divisible of x. Inside this, what I'm saying, same formula only, but inside that particular function I'm using. Now observe what is the difference now. Save this particular query, then execute it. Yeah. So now what is showing us? Because why it is showing as null instead of 0? Because while creating it, I defining its query property, I said display zeros as null. While discussing about the properties, there I have discussed about that, and we said display 0 as what? Null. That's why it is showing as null. So where is that as specified is under my query properties as specified, right? Value display and show 0 as what? Null. That's why it's showing us. Okay, right. Now, next important function you can observe one more. You have something called value without dimension. What is that now? Value without dimension. So it's saying no unit. Now suppose, imagine you are calculating like this. Let us say price into quantity. So price into quantity is what? Let us say it's a revenue value, right? Now, observe now. What is that now? Save and execute it. What is its value now? 2,700. But you can observe now at the top, what is it? It's showing INR kg. It's multiplying the unit of price as well as quantity also. But can revenue can be in terms of INR kg? Revenue is what? It should be only rupees. It cannot be. So that means I don't want the unit of quantity to be considered. I just to consider the only unit of my price. So now, in that case, what you will do? You use this particular noding function, value without dimension. So price into what? So value without dimension of what? Quantity. Okay, now just save and execute your query now. What is showing at the top now? Only because it is excluding the unit of your quantity. Understand? So whenever you want to exclude the units, you have to use which function? That value without dimension. So like this. So you can use the various functions. So a lot of options are available. So according to the requirement of user, how he wanted the report, you should understand which option has to be used. One. Okay. Now Okay, right? That is again value without dimension, some error. So basically, next is again you can observe what is that now? Mathematical functions. What is that you have? Absolute value. Absolute value means modulus. What it will do? Even though if it is a negative value, it takes as, so always it will consider, it will ignore your sign. So whenever you want to ignore the sign and let it say it should be a positive value, then you can go with taking the absolute value. So say absolute value of some, right? Some key figure I am taking. If it is negative value, it will be shown always as positive value. But in the property you have seen something called reverse sign. Reverse sign means if it is positive, it will show as negative. If it is negative, it shows as positive. That is different. This is different. Okay. Then what is that now? This is smallest whole number value that is greater than operand. You know ceil function, ceil and floor. Any idea? Ceil means top, floor means bottom. Now you have seen when I said number of decimal places is equal to 0, then it is truncation is happening. The rounding of zeros is taking place. How it is taking place? If greater than 5, it is truncating to the higher side. If it is less than 5, truncating to the lower side. But I don't want like that. My truncation always to take place to higher side. Then you can go with which function now? Ceil function. Now I am saying let us say ceil of 2.001. Ceil of what? Now, without ceil function, and if you say number of decimal places is equal to 0, its value is 2. Truncation to the lower side, the value is what? But I am using ceil function, now its value will be 3. It depends upon number of zeros you are specifying now. Suppose I say number of decimal places is 0. It will show as 3. If you say number of decimal places is 1, what value it will be? 2.001 means it will become 2.1. So I said let us say number of decimal places is 0, and observe now always your truncation node takes place to the higher side. What is the value it is showing now? 3. Because I have used ceil function. So now when you want to truncate your values to higher side, go with ceil function. Then same way you want to truncate it to the lower side, you have something called as floor. Now you have seen this is greatest value, okay, smallest integer value that is greater than the operand, that is smallest integer value that is less than the operand. So now under data functions is done. Next is mathematical functions. So this is smallest integer value. Next is greatest whole number value, that is you can observe greater than operand, that is. So now suppose you say 2.999. Actually if truncation takes place, its value should be 3. Now I use it floor, that is bottom. So always truncation to the lower side. Understand? Ceil and again 2.99, but it should be actually 3. What is showing us 2. Whatever may be the value, irrespective of that, the truncation takes place to the right. Then what is that now? Whole division. That means the division will be done only for the whole numbers. Potential function means e to the power of x exponential. So the value of e is something 2.713. Then decimal part of the operand means output just shows you only the decimal part. Then you can see log base e. This is log base 10. Then what is that you have? Maximum. So maximum means it will compare what are the values you are specifying. Out of this, which are the maximum is there, it will print that value. Suppose, imagine I am saying maximum of price and quantity. Can it compare? There is no meaning in the definition itself, right? The price is INR, quantity is kg. How can it compare? See now, if you use like this, what it says? Is not correct. Now if you execute it, what's happening now? It's saying what is it now? Your calculated key figure is not correctly defined. Why? Because that is, how can it compare now? No, but let us say still, I need to ignore my unit and I need to compare it. What you can do? You need to ignore the unit means what? Which function I have to use? Maximum of what? Value without dimension of price, then comma, value without dimension of, select this. You have to combine the different options and you can start using them. Save it. Now can it compare? Because I said exclude the unit. Out of price and quantity, which is the highest value, it will print that particular value as your calculated key figure. The price value was 300. Out of 309, maximum value is 300. Okay, like this. So you can apply some calculations to calculate your that is maximum function. Then you can observe still you have some other functions. Maximum of 0. Here I am specifying two values. Here one value will be comparison with respect to 0. Then in the output it is going to print the minimum value, minimum from 0. Then remainder means, now suppose normally if you use 5 divided by 2, if I say, what is the value? It will show you the quotient. Quotient is what? 2.5. But if I use remainder means it will show as 1. What is the remainder? 5 by 2 means remainder is 1. The sign of the operand means if it is a positive value, output will be printed as +1. If it is a negative value, output will be printed as -1. Then square root you can calculate. So like this, you can use some mathematical functions. Then you can use sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, or sin inverse, or cosine means cos inverse, or sin means sin inverse, or tan means tan inverse. Then you have hyperbolic, sin hx, cos hx, tan hx, or next is 1. If it is not satisfied, output will be 0. So, it is less than or equal to, not equal to, and you can see AND gate. AND gate means if both Between two conditions I specify and if both are satisfied, output will be 1. Like that. So, suppose I am saying now revenue is less than some 1000 and what? Quantity is greater than let us I am saying both the conditions are satisfied, output will be 1. Now you have, let me put the revenue also in this now. Now save this query, then you can execute it. So what is that now? Revenue is less than 1000 and quantity is greater than 2. Both are satisfied. It's printed as 1. Here also again, both are satisfied, printed as. Okay, so like this, sir. Suppose, understand now? So like this, sir. So you can use the Boolean operation, AND gate, OR gate, NOR gate, so like this, sir. So you can apply you can create a calculated key figure, sir, which is nothing but a global object. Yes. Now, if you want, you can observe, I said it is a global object. So what is the cube name? Just get it from the properties. Okay, this is my query properties. What is the cube name? YIC underscore DEM, right? I am trying to create one more query now. Just find that particular cube name. Okay, what is the cube name now? YIC underscore. This is my cube now. Open it. Can you observe now what is there here? Calculated key figure. Can you see that CKF? So, what will be the formula for this? What are I specified there? Suppose if I change it here, it will affect there also. Understand the logic now? So, that is what is the calculated key figure, which is a global object. Okay. So I am not saying it. Let me open my query. Done. Now, next observe now. This is my calculated key figure. And what are the options that I can use here? You can observe I can use price, quantity, revenue, and even. So that means you can observe here, it's not that what are the things I have placed in the columns. Did I place price here? Or let us say I am removing my revenue from the columns. And if, so and I said new formula, right? We can make it as a local object. New formula is a local. Calculate key figure is a global. So now, how do you create new formula? What is it here? In the columns you can see there is something called key figures. Here also you have key figures. If I select in the columns, right click on this one, what is the option you can see? New formula. What is it here? Formula 1. Same options. But here your technical name is not mandatory. For your formula, new formula, what is it now? Technical name is not mandatory. For calculated key figure, technical name is mandatory. And what is that other part? Can you see what can be used here? Only quantity, and that is what I have placed only in my columns. And if you remove this formula from the columns, can I get it back again? But what about your calculated key figure? Can I get it back again? Understand the logic? What is the difference between global and local object? So for global object, for calculated key figure, no technical name is must. But for a new formula, no need of any technical name. Then calculated key figure is a global object, new formula is a local object. Then what is the other difference? In calculated key figure, the available operands are all the operands which are available in your database. But for new formula, you can use only which has been placed in your columns. And if you remove your calculated key figure back to your left frame, what is going to happen now? Again, I can reuse it. But new formula is not reusable. Understand now? So that is what is global and local object. Okay? Right? So, any doubts with this concept, calculated key figure and new formula? Yes, let me come one by one. Hello? Gokul? Reena? Venkat? Sudhi, Bhuvani, Vinay? Everyone is clear? Okay, everyone is fine. Then I go further now. Yeah, Reena, you are, I think just now you asked me about restricted key figure, right? Now you can observe, you'll understand. Yes. So now, what is restricted key figure I have displayed? I have shown you like this now, just now. Now, normal, any restriction that you apply, let us say it shows entire output usually. But when I apply a restriction, I have applied a restriction, customer number is equal to what? C1. So it is affecting for all the columns. It is affecting for quantity as well as for revenue also. But my requirement is not like that. My requirement is what? I am applying a restriction, but it should affect only for the particular column. See the difference in both the output now? This is normal restriction, this is a restricted key figure. See now, observe now. Let us say I will go apply a restriction now. Okay, I am applying a restriction saying customer number is equal to C1. Go to filter. So this is my customer number. Right click. Then restrict. So restrict with which value now? With C1. Okay, now your customer number is restricted with what? C1. That means in the output I am saying now just show the values of only C1. Now observe now. the impact now? For quantity, it's showing values of C1. For revenue also it shows only value of C1. For all the things it is showing only values of. Okay. It's affecting quantity as well as revenue. But I want to affect it only to my revenue. For quantity it has to show values of entire thing. But for revenue it has to show only value of what? C1. So then you can create it as a restricted. So now observe now. How do you create a restricted key figure C? I'm just removing my restriction now. So this is actual revenue which is there in the database, that also I'm removing. Then observe now what I'm doing. This is my key figures. Right click, new, restricted key figures. So one more column is coming, folder is coming. What is that now? New. Double click on this. Same thing. Just apply a description now. So now this description I'm changing from new restricted key figure to, let us say, revenue. And give some technical name. Okay. Then this restriction should be applied for what? Which key figure now? This restricted key figure should take the value of revenue. What you can do, just drag revenue to the. I'm saying this restricted key figure value should be nothing but revenue. See now, try to drag one more key figure. What is going to happen? It is for affecting only particular key figure, I say. So I'm dragging revenue. Then, based on which character you want to apply restriction? Based on my customer number, drag customer number also to my. Then, right click on this. What is the option now? Restricted. Which value is that now? C1. Same restriction only I am applying, but I am saying it should affect only for the revenue. So now observe now, save. So just drag it to your that restricted key figure to your columns. Let's save. Execute. Can you observe the difference now? Earlier what was that? I'll show you now. See? So for quantity it is showing entire values, but for revenue it is showing only values of what? So earlier this was output, no? For quantity as well as revenue also shows only value of C1. Now if you can observe, what is that? And Vinay, if you can observe, what is the total it is showing now? 2000. This was your requirement, Vinay. Okay, so that is what is the concept of a restricted key figure, wherein you can apply a restriction only for a particular key figure. So now, any doubts regarding this? And you want to let us say same thing, new selection, etc. It's a local object. Just observe now. This is my key figure, sir. Right click on this. What is that option now? New. If you create as a new selection, it is a local. If you create as a, so now what is that? Selection 1. Same thing, see. You can, no need of any technical name. Just which key figure you want, drag it, apply the restriction whatever you want. Okay, like this. So apply a restricted, you can apply some. So that is what is, those two are the virtual key figures you can create, which are not existing in your database, just only for your display purpose. Okay, right. So now we'll stop it here today.